They say this single is working, I think I'm learning. I am way more than what people might think when they look on the surface. What is my purpose? Yeah, that is a question that I have been asking myself, and it hurts. Cause probably something I should already know, but I don't know it yet. I'm trying to grow as a person. Whoa! I'm sick of people telling people I'm here cause of marketing dollars. Oh, you think that everything is gonna blow just cause you market it harder? No, I got my hands in everything. Now they out trying to get to me. Stop trying to lecture me. You don't compare to my level of thinking, so why do you think you compare to my energy, huh? Small circle, but the numbers growing. Fame call me, I'm like, how you doing? Hung up on them, I ain't ready for it. I get back to that when I make album 4. Less talking, I've been working more. Better me is what I'm working towards. Y'all judging, but we not in court. No, we not in court, oh Lord. Last couple years, let's recap. I make a living off of writing on my regrets. I'm doing me, I don't care where the scene's at. Try to give me feedback, I don't really need that. I used to walk on stage in a V-neck. I used to wear a little tie with a black vest. I came a long way, why you looking upset? I'm trying to paint a picture, get the vision, you ain't here yet. Look, hold up, wait a minute please. Flow switching, I got ADD. Brain scatters when you play the beat. It don't matter what you say to me. I'll be doing this at 83. I've been doing this since ABCs in the major leagues, doing major things. Don't play with me. Woo! I'm living life in the fast lane. Wake up every morning thinking I'ma have a bad day. Drive my own car, I don't like the valet. Park, then I go into my mind with an AK. Shoot every thought in my head, then it rotates. Losing it all, but I think that I'm okay. Who was involved, I don't know, but I'm insane. Poof, and I'm gone when they call me a no-name. What? I'm probably not what you thought. I'm probably not what you thought. I used to judge everybody that wasn't like me till I learned it was wrong. Girl told me I should get it together and get out the dark. I'm trying to give her my heart. That's when I sit in my car, writing for hours until I can barely talk. I mean, where do I start? Feels like I'm falling apart. Act like my image is hard. I always put on my guard, even when talking to God. Sit in my room and I plot. Everything that I'm not comes out in the music I tried. I give it all that I got. I give it all that I got. I'm trying to think of the box, no. Yeah, I got people standing outside a bus screaming my name. I don't come out and take pictures, they tell me I changed. I don't smile at VIPs, you get mad like you know what I paid. Guess I don't know what to say, guess I don't know what to say. I leave it all on the stage, I leave it all on the stage. Clicks, 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 they'll do anything to get a few. Tick, 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 that's the sound before my head explodes. Quick, 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 look at you up on your pedestals. Quick, 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 hear the critics come, it's time to go. I read your article, it kinda hurt me. I don't know who hired you or what your friends say in your circle, but the fact that you released it tells me 2 things are for certain. They get paid for trashing people, I get paid cause I stay working. Drop the searching, they emerge up out of nowhere to the surface, just to peek behind the curtain, throwing salt at all my burdens. I'm aware I shouldn't give this my attention. Life's a journey, I should just stay on my path and learn to laugh. You think they heard me? Ears are burning, put them out. Quiet, quiet, look around. Why don't they find someone way more interesting to write about? Us, we're kinda boring, aren't we? All we do is whine and pout. It's confusing, so amusing how I argue with myself. Hello? I spit it with these, so leave it to me. Doubt it, but you better believe I'm on a rampage. Hit 'em with the record release. Depending a week, I'm probably gonna have to achieve another goal. Let me go when I'm over the beat. I go into beast mode like I'm ready to feast. I'm fed up with these thieves trying to get me to bleed. They wanna see me taking out. Yep, see what I mean? How many records I gotta give you to get with the program? Take it for granted, I'm about to give you the whole plan. Open your mind up and take a look at the blueprint. Debate if you got it, but gotta hold it with both hands. Pick at the bars, you gotta be smart. You really gotta dig in your heart if you wanna get to the root of it. Issue pursuing the mental could be dark and be difficult, but the payoff at the end of it can help you to get through it. I pay my dues, made it through. Woo, 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 spread the news. I'm on the loose. Woo, 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 making moves. I need some room. Woo, 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 always cool. Well, don't assume, don't assume. Hey, I'm the truth. Oh, they want some proof. Here, don't be rude. Something new. Even when I lose, I make it look cool. Do the show, then we hit the room. Life is looking old. What to do? I don't need the shades up to like the view. It's time to get back in the swing of things. When my life crashes, I'm not the guy that'll flee the scene. I'll take ownership and own it and raise my hand if it's me. Just remember though, I'm only a man, I'm a human being. Don't they
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Hack Smarter Live. My name is Tyler Ramsby. I am your host, and I'm super excited to have you taking the time to hang out with me. Hey, right at the outset, let me tell you a few introductory things. First, I am the founder of two companies that I'm really building from the ground up. The first is Hack Smarter. You can check it out at hacksmarter.org, but we have hands-on labs and courses in the field of ethical hacking that you can actually afford. So if you want to learn more about being an ethical hacker, head over to hacksmarter.org. The second company is a pen testing firm. We hack your company before the bad guys do. So if your company needs a pen test in 2026, would love to work with you. You can check us out at kairos-sec.com. Link is also right below me. But hello, everyone. Oh, one more thing. I am live right now on 3 different platforms. You can join on whichever platform works best for you, but I am live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. On YouTube and LinkedIn, I just stream under my name, Tyler Ramsby, and over on Twitch, I stream under the handle hack_smarter. So YouTube and LinkedIn is Tyler Ramsby, Twitch it is Hack Smarter, but I have the chat from every platform pulled up via Restream up on the screen, and I will do my best to monitor chat from all the different platforms and answer any questions you might have. Now, before I pull up the chat and say hello to everyone, if this is one of your first times joining me, whether you are here live or maybe you stumbled across this after the fact, here is what you can expect. We're going to begin our time by about 30 to maybe 40 minutes of Q&A, depending how many questions we have. So if you have any questions about cybersecurity, pen testing, careers, business, life in general, feel free to ask them and I will answer the questions. Once we are done with Q&A, we're going to dive into some live hacking on the Hack Smarter platform, and I make it free for the duration of the stream, at least the lab that we are working on. Now, I forgot to build the live event until the 5-minute countdown started, and so I'm actually building it right now. So before I say hello to everyone, I need you to talk amongst yourselves for 39 seconds. All right, give me 39 seconds while I finish building out this live event so it shows up on the website, and then you will be able to join for free. I'm gonna pay what you can, but it can be 0, default 5, hit create. All right, let me see if I did this correct. Give me just a moment. Want to make sure this event will kick off for us at 1 o'clock, at least the free lab part of it. All right, hacksmarter.org. It should be there now. Let's double check. I'll also share my screen, walk you through it so you can get everything ready for when we get to the hacking part of things. Yes, it is there. All right, beautiful. You're going to see a black screen for a moment. I just have to grab the correct screen to share. Okay, so if you want to follow along for today's live stream, head on over to hacksmarter.org. I'll drop the link here in chat. And you can see Hack Smarter Live. If you click into that, you can see the lab will be free in 18 minutes. So no subscription required. It is pay what you can starting at $0. So if you want to tip a few dollars, that'd be amazing, because although it's free for you, it is not free for me. And I also want you to notice that we just released a brand new lab today. This is actually a multi-machine lab. There's 3 different machines in this Active Directory lab, and it is free for the first 8 hours. So it's already been 4 hours. We got 4 hours left of free access there. But hey, what you should really do, if you support what I'm doing, if you want me to be able to keep making videos, keep making labs, join the platform. You can get all access for only $16.99 a month. That unlocks everything. Every course, every hack with me, every lab, and the future ranges that will be coming out in 2026. Alternatively, if you're like, Tyler, maybe you're a little more advanced, you don't need my courses, but you love the labs because it's a heavy focus on realism. Very good labs in my opinion. But for only $6.99 a month on the annual plan, you get unlimited access to all of the labs. The lab that we're going to be doing in today's stream, once we're done with Q&A, is evasive, which should be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some phishing in today's lab, so should be a lot of fun. One more announcement, guys. You may have seen that there is a fake Hack Smarter page on LinkedIn. All right, let me show this to you guys real quick, because I just put out a freaking hit on them like a mafia boss. All right, because LinkedIn is ignoring me. They keep closing tickets without freaking doing anything about it. And so I decided, fine, I will take matters into my own hands. If LinkedIn's not going to help me, then I'm going to figure it out. So I'll show you guys this fake page real quick. It's a freaking, they do like they just jacked the logo and name, but they post like life tips or life hacks. It's so freaking stupid. All right, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I need to switch my screen real quick. All right, you see this page? This isn't freaking real. But the reason they did Hack Smarter like that is when people are trying to tag Hack Smarter Labs, they accidentally tag this page. They have nothing to do with cybersecurity, but they stole the logo, they stole the name. And how these pages work is they download videos from TikTok, they repost them in order to build up a following, and then they eventually sell the page and try to make money off of it. And they're trying to hijack the Hack Smarter brand so that they have more visibility. It's been reported to LinkedIn over 100 times by different people, and LinkedIn doesn't want to freaking do anything about it. So here is, I'm literally giving out a bounty on this page's head. All right. If someone can get me in contact with LinkedIn successfully and we can get this page taken down, I will give you 4 vouchers for year-long access to Hack Smarter All Access. So you get a voucher and 3 of your friends do, whoever you want to give them to. That's a total of $1,400 value. So I am putting a freaking bounty on this fake page's head. If you can get me in contact with an employee at LinkedIn who can actually do something about it, please. Otherwise, alternatively, freaking go to this page, spam them with messages, spam all of their posts, ask them why they're trying to impersonate our community. But I am taking matters into my own hands. So if you can figure out a way to take down this page, if it's a gray area, don't tell me how you did it. But if you take down this page, I will give you 4 vouchers to Hack Smarter All Access. Freaking screw these impersonator losers. Can we use the 4 vouchers for 4? Go ahead. I don't care how you use the 4 vouchers. Use them however you want. If you can get me in contact with someone at LinkedIn who will actually listen to our reports, because apparently that's not LinkedIn's thing. They don't care from what I can see. All right, let me go back to my virtual machine now. It's very, very frustrating because now it's like, the reason I'm fired up about it is before it wasn't that big of a deal, but now it's been like 4 times just within the past 12 hours that people try to tag our platform and they tag the fake Hack Smarter page. So it's really, really, really getting on my nerves now. So the bounty is out on their head. We'll see how long they last when a bunch of hackers are coming against them to take down their page. So if nothing else, spam them. Just fill up their freaking inbox. What losers. All right, now that my rant is over, let me scroll up. And we got a super chat. I apologize. I was too busy ranting to even see that. Sierra Mike, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being here as well. Okay, if you had a question, just ask it one time. You don't need to ask multiple times. I literally scroll to the very top of the chat, and I'll scroll down and answer each question in the order that they are submitted. We got Sank Logic with the first blood. Actually, Sank Logic and Beastie thinks you guys made a comment according to Restream at the exact same timestamp down to like the sub-second or millisecond or whatever. That's amazing. But for some reason, Sank Logic's name is first, so he must have somehow beat you just a tiny bit. But good to see both of you. We got Philly D checking in. What is up? We got Rick Kelly, aka Port Zero, checking in. We got Knight 1972. We got Gratitude 2020. Jesse Moore. BC said, tomorrow's an interview. Wish me luck, fam. You got this, dude. Let us know how it goes. Super excited to hear. Even if you don't say in live stream, shoot me a DM on Discord. We'd love to hear how the interview ends up going. What's up, Ferry? What up, Philly D? What up, M1 Kid 28546? Very hard to say your name. Good to see you. We got Dave OF checking in. What is up? All right, scrolling. We got Zero Greymon. By the way, there's a whole bunch of people here who haven't said hi. So even if you just like saw me streaming and you threw me up on your side monitor to keep you company while you work, you're just lurking, that's fine. Just say hello. I'm totally fine being on your side monitor, but say hi. I would love to hear from you if you are hanging out in the stream. What's up, the bearded IT dad, Dakota? Good to see you again, my friend. Back to the basement, yes, because there's a bat in my office. I don't want to get rabies. So we are still in the basement. What up, Haxer Bite? Good to see you as well. MD Jahidul says, love you, Ramsby. I love you too. Thank you. Doc Kaplan said, according to my YouTube 2025 yearly recap, you were the channel I watched the most. 116 videos. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. What's up, Jeffrey over on LinkedIn? Gina on LinkedIn. Hey, won't be following along today, but I'll be listening. I love it. I will try to teach while you listen. All right, scrolling. Weishin said, real talk, if I wanted to start my own LLC to perform pen testing, PCI, DSS compliance testing for my local city's mom and pop shops, how can I get started? What legal things should I be aware of? Okay, I will give you some LLC advice in like 2 minutes or less. Number one, start an LLC now. Don't wait. And when you start the LLC, you'll get an EIN or employer identification number or something like that is what it's called. But with that, you can open up a separate bank account for your LLC. LLC means limited liability corporation, but it's only truly limited liability if you keep your personal finances separated from your LLC finances. So from the moment, if you plan on doing any type of work as an LLC, get the bank account open first, and then make sure your finances are very clearly separated from your personal bank account. Also, I would recommend working with an accountant. As an LLC, at least a single member LLC, you have to pay full self-employment taxes, state income taxes if your state has state income, and federal employment taxes. On top of that, depending on how much money you make, you're required to file your taxes or to pay an estimate of your taxes on a quarterly basis. If you don't do that, you can hit a penalty for not paying your taxes on time. So you have to do it on a quarterly basis. And then finally, if you get to a point where you're making a little over, I think it's like $80,000 to $90,000 of revenue, you'll want to switch from a single member LLC to an S Corp. As an S Corp, there's a little more administrative work that goes with it. You really will need an accountant to set up the S Corp side of things. But when you switch to an S Corp, you begin paying yourself a reasonable salary as a W-2 employee, and you can save a lot of money on taxes when you take out dividends from the business for your personal finances. So once you reach a certain point, an S Corp is the best way to do it. A little more administrative cost, but you save more on taxes than what the administrative cost is. And finally, just to emphasize, I personally think anytime it comes to taxes, dealing with the IRS, it's best to hire an accountant. They're relatively affordable. You don't want to make a mistake and have the IRS come for you for unpaid taxes and things of that nature. So just do all of that stuff in the beginning, and you will thank me later on when you're working on your taxes and all of that good stuff. Outside of that, you also need insurance. So generally speaking, when you do pen test, you or your firm need 3 pieces of insurance. You need general liability insurance up to $1 million value. You need professional liability, that's error and omissions, up to $1 million value. And then you also want cyber insurance for your company. So general liability, professional liability, and cyber insurance for your LLC or for you as a consultant or a contractor if you are doing it on your own. So Weishin, I'm glad you asked. It's all fresh in my mind because I just got done meeting with an accountant. Was that 2 days ago, to switch from an LLC to an S Corp, and I did all the legal stuff way in the beginning and kept my finances separate from the beginning because I was aware of some of that. But hopefully I just saved you some time and money by sharing all that with you. Computer Guy Dre said, Odyssey has been a blast. Can't wait to finish it after work. I'm glad you enjoy it. Ryan does an amazing job building machines. He is working on our first range right now. It'll be a 6-machine, like enterprise type range, Hack the Box Pro Lab style that he's working on. I saw him working on it on the back end. We're hoping to release that in early 2026. Fairy said, hey Tyler, what courses would you recommend to beginners such as me on Hack Smarter? I am about to finish phishing and will complete Intro to Hacking Methodology soon after. Hey, really good question. So if you're doing the phishing course, that is awesome. If you're interested in cloud stuff at all, you could definitely do Intro to AWS Pen Testing. It is beginner friendly. But what I would recommend as far as an order goes for courses, you did it a little bit out of order, but it's fine. You can do hands-on phishing first. That's fine. What I would recommend is Intro to Hacking Methodology, hands-on phishing, Intro to AWS Pen Testing, then the Sliver C2 course, and really anytime in there that you want to change things up, after you do Intro to Hacking Methodology, because that builds a solid baseline, you could do any of these Hack With Me's. These are like guided hacking. It's like me and you sitting down at a computer and hacking together. These first 3 are like pay what you can because you need a subscription to VulnLab for those ones. But then these 2, Hacking AD Volume 3, it's all labs built into the Hack With Me. You don't have to do anything else. And same with the Linux hacking one. So you can check those out. And then at any time, you can work through these labs. If you're new, I would definitely begin with the easy rated labs, not the medium or hards, and slowly work through those. So just when you're sick of going through a course, jump over and solve a lab and then go back and forth. And finally, one course that I know a lot of people are really excited about in February, at least that's what I'm targeting, February 2026, by the end of February at least, I plan on releasing my next full-length course on web app pen testing. It will take you from beginner to intermediate in doing real professional web app pen testing. So hopefully that helps, Ferry. Thanks for the question. Oh, thank you, Jesse. I don't use X, but I appreciate you sharing it out there. And thank you, Philly D, for reporting their page. We need support teams like Steam. I agree. All right, Nick CCS said, I want to ask a few questions about how I can improve myself right now. I have some knowledge of IT fundamentals and network fundamentals. I also have knowledge of OSs such as Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. I'm trying to develop my skills using Hack the Box Labs and Academy. Aside from that, I read articles on certain blogs and websites. How can I improve myself further while doing these things? Do you have any roadmaps, resources, or advice you would recommend to help me grow? I'll be honest with you, Nick CCS, you're doing everything right. The only thing that I would add is make sure you're part of a community. Would love to have you join the Hack Smarter community, and by community, I mean Discord. You don't even have to be a member of the platform. But if you look at our tagline up here, you can see that we're backed by a free community dedicated to helping each other succeed in careers and life. To join that free community, just hit the Discord button up there and it will bring you into the Discord. But that'd be the other thing I recommend, Nixie, is make sure you get involved in a community. It's often not what you know, but who you know as you grow in your career. And at Hack Smarter, we always have events going on. We have weekly goal meetings that happen regularly. We do resume reviews. We have a CTF team. We have an OSCP study group that's active every single week. So make sure you check out the community. All right, Rosalie YouTube, or YT over on Twitch said, question, I want to get into pen testing and get into the cybersecurity field. I have zero experience, but everyone keeps telling me to get a position in help desk first, then make my transition that route into cybersecurity. Should I do that? I'm currently studying for CompTIA A+. You definitely could do that. It's a valid path. What I would recommend is right now begin applying for jobs in IT, especially help desk jobs. Even if you don't get them right now, start applying because nothing's going to hurt you by applying, and keep working on the CompTIA certifications. Before you get into ethical hacking, you want to make sure you have a solid foundation of general IT knowledge. And what I recommend to people is get the CompTIA's A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus certifications. It's commonly referred to as the CompTIA trifecta. What I like about the A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus is they give you a very solid foundation in general IT knowledge, and they look super good on your resume. Especially for a help desk or a sysadmin job, those certs are going to help you stand out above others and at least help you get to that interview stage. So that'd be my recommendation. Thank you for asking. We got Madera taking the PMPT. I love it. What up, Mayel? What up, Rams? Good to see you, my friend. We got Haxerbite checking in. We got Josh Schoenberger on YouTube checking in. All right, scrolling. We got Kathy Chambers. What is up, Kathy Chambers? Good to see you, my friend. We got C. Salanjaro 4099. BC says, bats, wasps, how many more animals are you starting beef with? I know. Guys, I'm not meant to have an actual office outside of my house. It's very clear. My first office I was in for a few months till it got invaded with about 40 different wasps and turned into a wasp nest. My second office, I was in there for maybe a month until all of a sudden there's bats in the freaking wall. So I am back home now. Will I ever be in another office? I don't know. Apparently it's doomed. It's doomed to have a separate office. So we roll with the punches. The PGT said, hi, Tyler. I love your content. Thank you. During an engagement, how do you record all your tool input and output, especially if using tmux? I don't record all of my tool input and output, but anytime I'm running commands that actually matter, then I will record it, but I just take good notes. For an engagement, I'll use Obsidian, so it's offline. For a CTF, I'll use Notion, but I just try to take really good notes on everything that I am doing. For like a A web engagement is a lot easier because everything's built into Burp. You can look at HTTP history, HTTP requests, all that good stuff. For a network pen test, you just want to be very clear what you are testing. When I do a network pen test, I actually email the client at the start of every single day and say, hey, here are the 4 to 5 things that I'm going to be focusing on today. Here is my IP. So if anything's happening, it's very easy for them to correlate their logs to make sure it is me or it's not me. What's up, Master of Bites? What's up, Roselli? What's up, Zebra? What's up, Neckbeard? Mael said, hi, Tyler. I'm curious if you are familiar with or participated in the U.S. Cyber Challenge CyberQuest. No, I've never even heard of it. U.S. Cyber. Let's check it out. U.S. Oh, okay. I've heard of it now that I see it. But I have never done it. Isn't it for like high schools or colleges, or is it for everyone? Huh, that's cool. No, I've never done it. It looks cool though. Thanks for sharing. Project C Solano said Project Discovery is just all over with nuclei now. AI as well, but they just have good tools. What do you guys take on this? I think Project Discovery is excellent tools. Yes. What's up, hacker? Alazar said we need a recap of previous live streams. I'll give you a quick recap of the machine that we're working on when we start the hacking. But guys, I can't even recap the previous live streams. I live stream like every day for like 2 hours every day. They're all meshed in my head. I can't tell you what we talked about yesterday. What's up, T. Kelwin? Awesome. Glad you enjoyed that, Ferry. What's up, 8-Bit Oni? Looks like I missed some of the stream already. Just saying hi and listen in. Well, welcome. We are just getting started. You, GNA, love, and then some base 64 encoded thing that I'm not going to decode. Hello. What's up, Inebriated? What's up, 0x3 Security? What's up, Death Wish Show? What's up, Prod Bite Toj? Tyler had his Batman phase. He came across Wasp. What's next? Ants? Ants wouldn't make me leave an office, at least. What's up, Leon? Good to see you, my friend. Kathy said, I feel like between the fake hacks murder page and the office situation, Tyler is having a rough week. It's all perspective, right? It's all perspective. It's not that bad working from home, especially since my kids are in school during the day for the most part. So when they're home, I just can't stream because it's too loud. I mean, I could probably try it, but I'm pretty sure you would hear them like banging around above my head and it wouldn't be the greatest quality. But they are in school, and I have actually a nicer setup at home than I do at any office I have, just as far as my general setup and my audio. My audio, actually, in my new office is a little bit rough. You probably don't notice this, but I notice it, and it really gets on my nerves. But it's a small room. There's nothing on the walls. It's just drywall. And so my voice bounces a lot. So there's a lot of reverb in the audio. So I've been doing a few different things to try to fix that reverb. And I was actually in the process of figuring out how I could put up some sound absorption to fix the reverb. But when the bat situation happened, I'm not going to spend money on that now until I actually know the office is legit. But here at my house, there's no reverb. Like, I have very, very good audio when I'm at home. As long as my kids aren't here. As long as they're in school. What's up, Minisec? What's up, JWFS1TR? And Gina said, I just graduated. When they asked what voucher I wanted, I just went with Security Plus. Do I need the A+? You don't need the A+. No. Security Plus is a very good certification. You'll see it on a lot of job descriptions. The knowledge behind the A+ is helpful, but you don't necessarily need the certification. Sent you Discord DM for LinkedIn reporting site. Sweet, thank you. I'll check it out after the stream. How's the bat situation? I don't know. The landlord person hasn't got back to me, so I'm assuming the bat's still there. Leanne said, yeah, my parents and brothers live with me. It's hard to work with that. Yeah, so you know the drill. Yeah, ants ain't that bad, but bat. Like, here's the thing about bats, guys. I don't know if you realize this, all right? Where I live, bat problems are common. If you actually go outside in the evening in the summertime, it's usually not common in December. It's freaking negative like 12 today, right? It's super cold. I don't know why there's a bat in the wall and it's awake. It should be hibernating or something. But in the summertime here in South Dakota, if you, at least where I live, if you go outside at dusk and you look up, you can see bats everywhere. It's actually kind of fun to watch them swoop do and eat a bunch of bugs. So there's bats everywhere. I love them for that fact. But if you're not around bats regularly, what you may not know about bats is just how dangerous they can actually be. So if you ever have a bat in your house, they actually recommend going to get a rabies shot, even if you don't have a visible mark on you, because while you're sleeping or while you're doing something, a bat can actually bite you enough that you don't feel anything, or it can scratch you and you don't even realize it happened. But if you wait till you feel the effects of rabies, you will die. Like rabies has around a 97 or 98% fatality rate. And even if you survive, you suffer severe neurological damage. So I'm not screwing around with any freaking bats. Like I'm not even taking the risk. If there's a bat there, I'm not going there. And just to show you guys death rate, to show you that I'm not crazy. Oh, here you go. Rabies has a nearly 100% fatality rate once symptoms appear. Once the virus affects the central nervous system, it is almost uniformly fatal, making post-exposure vaccination the most critical prevention measure after potential exposure. So they literally say, if you discover a bat in your house, you're supposed to go and start doing the rabies shots and just assume that you may have rabies. So that's why, knowing that there is a bat in the wall of my office and the office isn't finished, so I don't think it'd be that hard for the bat to figure out a way out of the wall, I'm not playing around with that. There's no bats at my house. I'm confident about that. So anyways, that's why I'm like, I'm not even attempting to work from my office until I know the bat issue is dealt with. So yeah, is what it is. Life could be worse. Could be better too. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. InfoSec AB said, "Hey Tyler, love seeing you. Currently struggling to get a job in pen testing, but doing the work. Love your work, and let's meet one day." Would love to meet. There are 3 conferences I attend every single year. I will be at DEF CON in August. Then I will be at Wild West Hacking Fest in Deadwood in October. And then I'll be at Simply CyberCon in South Carolina in November. I don't travel anywhere else. I freaking hate traveling for a few reasons. One is I live in a rural area, so anywhere I go, it's almost always a connecting flight, and then that's just stressful. But 2, I just don't like being away from my kids. So I don't travel for that reason. Actually, I turned down, it was like $150,000 pen testing contract because it would require multiple times of travel over the next year. Like, the money's just not worth it to me. I'd rather be home. So you won't see me unless you come to South Dakota or you're at one of those conferences. I imagine you in a deep voice telling the bat, "I'm not Batman." Exactly. Here for the first time. Just found your stuff yesterday from 54NDL07. I love it. Hey, thank you for being here. And I meant to say, but I forgot. If anyone else is here for the first time, let me know. Would love to give you a proper welcome. But 54NDL07, thank you for being here. I'm curious, how did you find my stuff? Was it LinkedIn? Was it a random YouTube recommendation? Let me know. Favorite sim? Maybe Splunk. I don't use sims. I hack. I don't do any blue team stuff anymore. I used to be a senior analyst on the blue team, but that was like 5 years ago. Since then, I've done offensive security, and we don't do any blue team stuff at KairosSec, the organization I founded. What about Bat Bounty? Which browser do you use when pen testing? Like when you used to? I still do pen testing. But when I'm doing like a web app pen test, I just use the built-in browser in Burp Suite Pro or Kaido, which is a Chromium-based browser. For my personal browser, I use Brave. Did you put up a bat box? I didn't. No. There's quite a few around my town, though, but I don't have one. Oh, I didn't know that I've caught 4 bats with old fishing net and released it outside. Lucky you're still alive, Goobler1625. What was the 3rd conference? The 3rd conference is Simply CyberCon. That happens in November. The dates have been selected for 2026, but I don't think they've been announced. I believe, don't quote me on this, but it's November 8th and November 9th. But I actually, it was really cool. I was able to keynote this last one. You can watch the keynote on my YouTube channel, but I was able to keynote the last Simply CyberCon, but this is the third conference I attend, put on by my good friend Jerry Ozier and the whole Simply Cyber crew over there. All right, looking through chat. The Bearded Dude interview, I love it. Dakota brought you to the party. That's amazing. So he was just here. Dakota said hi a little bit ago. I don't know if Dakota's still here, but Dakota, if you are, dude, thank you so much. You brought 54NDL07 over to the Hack Smarter party. Thank you again for featuring me on your channel. Really like your content. Oh, wait, Jake Wyatt TV. No, Purple Ops. No, I don't do purple teaming. We just do project-based pen testing. Yobo said, really like your content. Will you do Advent of Cyber THM sometime, Tyler? No, THM didn't invite me to participate this year, probably because I called out their founder's silly AI startup he was trying to do. And now that I have my own platform, I guess they see me as competition. So they did not invite me to help or participate in Advent of Cyber, and I'm not going to give them free promotion. So no, I am not doing Advent of Cyber. Why Brave? I just like it. I like the built-in ad blocker and stuff. I know you can get all the same ad stuff if you use Firefox and such, but I just like Brave. Mayel said, I'm trying to break into the cybersecurity industry and I've experienced as a data analyst, currently studying for CYSA Plus, which I actually have that certification. Any general tips on certification prep? The CYSA Plus is very much a multiple choice thing. So with all of CompTIA's exams, the thing you need to realize is they ask you questions in such a way that there's multiple right answers and they want you to choose the best right answer. And the only way to get used to like that type of a test is do as many practice tests as you can. Now, when I did all of my CompTIA certifications, there was no such thing as ChatGPT or like mainstream AI, like that wasn't in use. Now with ChatGPT, it would be amazing if you just tell ChatGPT, copy and paste like the study guide for the CYSA Plus and have GPT create you some practice exams in the CompTIA style. That would be my recommendation for certification prep. Fairy said, hey, Tyler, when you do use Chromium-based browsers built into Kaido, does that feel slower than regular browsers? Does it put much of a load on your system? Not that I have noticed. I have not noticed anything. Bearded IT interview. Do you know a guy named Scott Ball? I don't think I know a guy named Scott Ball, but a lot of people use like hacker handles or Discord names, and I don't know their real name. So maybe not. Diss rap. Maybe. QQ on steroids said, hi, Tyler. My end goal is red teaming. Let me scroll up. But would you recommend taking a SOC analyst internship? Will this affect my path to red teaming? If you're able to take a SOC analyst internship, yes, take it. It will affect your path to red teaming, but it will affect it in a positive way. If you have experience working on the blue team or working in the SOC, it'll be incredibly handy when you switch over to pen testing. You can use that experience a lot in your engagements, as well as when you're working with the client in like a debrief or with remediation advice. So if you have the opportunity, go for it. I love you too, Upgrade. Thank you. Cred said, what's up from Portugal? Do you know any cool search for pen testing AI or AI in general? TCM just released an AI pen testing cert created by my really good friend Andrew Bellini called Papa, which is amazing. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you're a true player. It is this one. Learn how to hack AI, then prove it. It's taught by Andrew. Now, I haven't done it, but I know Andrew. I've heard him teach. He's an amazing instructor, so I'm sure it's well worth the time and the money. And then plus, you can be a certified Papa, which is, you know, I was Papa Shell back in the day when I made my rap songs for TCM. I'll have to come after Andrew for stealing the Papa name. But no, he's a cool dude. I'm sure this cert's really solid. All right, scrolling. Okay, last question, says Jake White. I've been in cyber professionally myself for a while, so I just want another like-minded perspective. What are your thoughts on LLMs being used for blue and red teaming nowadays? I think they are an amazing tool. I don't think they replace good blue and red teamers. They're good for, I think, initial detection, maybe some initial alerts, but I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on them. I use them occasionally. Apit Oni said, I hated the CYSA cert. Questions seem too open-ended. I agree. Every CompTIA cert I've taken, I've passed all of them. And I have, geez, I might miss some. So on CompTIA, I have the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CYSA Plus, Pentest Plus, Project Plus, and probably some that I'm forgetting. Every single CompTIA cert I've taken, about midway through the exam, I'm always like, this is going to be the first one I fail. Confident that I'm failing, and I passed every single one on my first attempt. So I don't like them. I always feel like I'm going to fail. Alternative for Bloodhound and Impacket tools for actual red team engagements, considering OPSEC and actual EDRs. There are some living off the land tools, I'm blanking on them right now, that allow you to essentially take a snapshot of the AD environment. It's like a legit tool, but then you can take that and load it into Bloodhound. Gosh, I can't think of what the tool is called. But that would be a recommendation for things like Impacket. It all depends how good the EDR is. It's generally not that difficult to obfuscate some of those common tools so that they bypass Defender for sure in some EDR. So it depends what EDR you're working with, but you might still be able to use some of those Impacket tools. You just have to usually compile from source and re-obfuscate them in various different ways. Maybe I'll make a live stream about that sometime. Old school type, I find it better. We love you, boss. All right. Yobo said, like 4 years ago right now, I watched malware analysis you did, and within that stream, I learned a lot. Really much tips. Do you see yourself doing much content again, like some kind of malware analysis stuff? Maybe. I don't do much malware analysis in general. I think that was when I was going through my friend Matt Kiley's course in TCM Academy. I don't even know if they still have the course. I think they do, but he had a malware analysis course that was really, really good. And I was live streaming myself working through those challenges. That was like 4 years ago. So yeah, you said 4 years ago. That's amazing that you still remember that. I interviewed Matt too, like 4 years ago about his course when it released. What's up, Chris? Oh, Chris finished Odyssey. Fun box. Thanks y'all for making and hosting it. I love it. Congratulations on finishing it. That is awesome. 8-Bit Oni said, I'm thinking about taking the Pentest Plus just so I renew the CYSA without taking it again. The CYSA and the Pentest Plus are very similar. What up, Damian Brown? Test anxiety, it is the worst. It is. AAD, thank you, Brian Lowe. That's what I was thinking of. AAD internals. Thank you. Have you ever used Forestrude? It is a Bloodhound alternative that is made for blue team, but because it's known as a blue team tool, no, I haven't. You actually piqued my curiosity. Is it open source or free? Stop chasing AD and Entra ID attack packs. Focus on your tier 0 perimeter. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it looks like it's, how does it, oh, it looks very similar. So it uses like the whole graph theory thing as well in Neo4j, I'm guessing. Dude, this is cool. What is their usage? A free tier 0 attack. So it looks like it's free. I'll have to check that out sometime. Thank you. Upgrade said, I just got CRTA, certified a red team analyst from Cyber Warfare. Do you think it is a good start in red team? I don't know anything about that certification. I think I've heard of it. Certified red team analyst, Cyber Warfare. Let me check this out. I mean, a cert's only worth it if HR's heard of it, unless you just do it for the learning. And I don't think this is an HR recognized certification. Fully hands-on course for beginners. I mean, one thing that, and I could be wrong, I didn't take the course, but they're calling it a red team analyst. and they're saying it's a course for beginners. That's kind of a contradiction. You see, red teaming and pen testing are not the same thing. For a pen test, you can be noisy. You don't have to do like EDR evasion and such. For a red team, it's much longer. You're focused on emulating an APT or an advanced persistent threat. Red teaming, by its very nature, is not beginner friendly. It's like an advanced version of pen testing. So if they're saying this is a hands-on course for beginners, but they're calling it a red team analyst, that gives me like some, I don't know if you're quite defining that correctly, but could just be me. Welcome to our site. All right, let's see what it covers. What is red teaming? Hopefully they actually explain what it is. Enterprise environment, technology is exploding in red. I'd be curious how deep they go into, especially cloud, external offensive, red team lab setup, practical case study, hands-on lab. Is it just one hands-on lab? I personally think their name is misleading. From what I see, this is more of a certified pen testing analyst, not a certified red team analyst. On-demand instructor-led mode. Has anyone in the live stream taken this? Oh, whoops. It's only a 6-hour exam. And you don't have to write a report. Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a red team exam personally. That's more like very junior pen testing exam. But, yeah. I could be completely wrong. Just my initial thoughts of looking at it. Yobo said, if you add a malware analysis course to your shop, I'd grab it instantly. I'd love to learn that topic from you specifically because your style makes the hard stuff feel doable. Well, thank you. Maybe one day. It's not in the current roadmap, but hey, maybe one day. Never say never, as the Beebs used to say. 5-4 said, I know it is a bad job market, but keep hearing how there are so many openings in cyber. What's the truth? Your advice for just getting started? My advice is that the job market is really tough right now. As far as for just getting started, I really just need to make a video. I made a video in 2024. I think it was 2024. That was like a roadmap for pen testing. I need to make one for 2026. I would recommend A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. Try to get a job in the field in IT. Once you're in that job, then try to get the OSEP. Once you have IT experience and the OSEP, try to get some CVEs under your name, which is like vulnerabilities you find in open source software. And then you should at least be able to get to an interview for like a pen testing role. But it is a very rough market right now in particular. Have you completed the CCNA? What are your thoughts on its current value in the job market? CCNA is very, very solid. The CCNA is sort of like the Network Plus, except for the Network Plus is vendor agnostic, whereas the CCNA is Cisco specific. What's cool about the CCNA is you actually get hands-on using like the Cisco CLI, which is a really good tool, especially if you want to be a network engineer. Yeah, Harrison Wells has really good advice there. Or go be a plumber or electrician. You can. It depends what you want to do, right? I mean, you can always start your own business. That's what I did. I quit, guys. I quit a very high-paying job as a pen tester for a firm in Seattle to do my own thing. I took a $60,000 pay cut in order to do that, but I'm happy with it. Because, well, I don't need that much money. I live in rural South Dakota. I don't need much to provide for my family. And I like to build my own thing. I got sick of building stuff for other people, and I wanted to build stuff on my own. Would you know if the web app OffSec cert is worth actually both the money and the knowledge? They have two web app certs. Their introductory one, I wouldn't say is worth it. Their advanced one, I would say is. Called the OSWE. So like I said before, they have like a Web 200 course. I don't think that one's worth it. I don't think it has much name recognition, but the OSWE is definitely worth it. But what you need to keep in mind is the OSWE is a very much a white box certification, which means you need to do some pretty intense code review and write custom exploits. And then you write a full exploit chain in order to pass the exam itself, in addition to a report. So this is legit. It is a little bit outdated. Like some of the code stuff you get access to is outdated, but it does teach really good theory. So if you want a web app cert from OffSec, this is what I would recommend, the OSWE. So best course be OSCP, then the 300. I mean, so in my opinion, once you get the OSCP, you don't need any more certifications. All right? Once you get the OSCP, then you should start working on getting experience. If you can't get a job as a pen tester yet, work on doing security research and finding CVEs and adding those to your resume. But after you have the OSCP, you do not need any more certifications. Then you just need to get a job as a pen tester. And then once you have the experience, well, you don't need a certification unless your employer requires it, at least in my opinion. The OSCP is what I really strongly recommend, but then you can do the training for the other certs. Like I've done all the training for CPTS and even their advanced web one, but I'm not going to take the cert because I don't need it. Like I don't need a certification that says Tyler can do pen testing. I freaking do pen testing all the time. I prove to you I do pen testing. I mean, I started a pen testing firm and I have my own lab platform, but same for you as well. You don't need to prove through a cert that you can do pen testing if you do pen testing for a living. So when do we start to hack, or is this stream Q&A? We'll start hacking in, what time is it? Well, I'll answer questions. Oh, I've been doing it for a while. Let's give it 5 more minutes on the questions, then we'll dive into the hacking. We're almost through all the questions. Zero said, I have the SANS, GFACT, and GSEC. Would you say these certs are entry level? If you were HR, how would you see these certs? So SANS is a really good name in the eyes of HR. I think when it comes to SANS, their training is really good, especially their instructors. I don't think their certs are great. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but most of the certs from SANS are all multiple choice. Like their GPen, which is like their pen testing cert, claims that it teaches you pen testing, but their certification, unless they change it, is literally a multiple choice exam. Multiple choice exams and pen testing should not go together. All pen testing certs should be fully hands-on, in my opinion. Either you can hack or you can't. Whether or not you can answer a multiple choice question does not prove whether or not you're able to hack stuff. Just my opinion, but I think my opinion's correct. What do you think about CRTP from Alter Security? I've never taken it. I don't know much about it, so I don't have any thoughts on it. Harrison says, I like taking certs. He's a madman. When I finish the OSCP, I want to do CPTS. My ultimate cert goal is CAPE. That's awesome. Kathy Chambers says, and you have to sell a kidney to afford it. Exactly. I have never taken SANS training. I actually had the opportunity at my previous employer. We had like some SANS vouchers. So I had the opportunity to take it, but I'm not joking. Out of principle, I did not take it. I don't like the price that SANS charges for stuff. So out of principle, I was not going to take their exam or get their certification or promote their content because I personally think it's significantly overpriced. I get it. They have government contracts. They do business to business sales, but for your typical individual, it is not realistic or affordable. There's much better training at much more affordable rates. GSEC did have a small practical part. Exactly. So mostly multiple choice. CPTS, then pursuing BSCP after it. Both are really good. BSCP is very underrated. That's the cert from Portswigger on the web app side of things. But okay, I believe I have made it through all of the questions. So, shall we play a game? Let me get notes pulled up. I'll give you guys actually, I need to get logged into the platform. I'm going to talk amongst yourselves. Well, I'll talk while I get logged in. I'm just not looking at chat as I get logged in. And let me get logged in real quick. Do 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 All right, here we go. Almost there. And want to, for those of you joined after my introduction in the beginning, I want to remind you that you can hack alongside of me completely free. So there is this live event going on right now. The lab that we're going to be working on is called Evasive. If you have a subscription to Hack Smarter, which all of you should, there's over 70 of you here. All of you right now, go get a subscription. You will not regret it, I promise. But if you have a subscription, the lab that we are working through today is going to be Evasive. This is going to be part 4, I think. But I'll recap the previous streams before I start recording. But we're going to be working on the Evasive lab. If you don't have a subscription, create a free account here on hacksmarter.org. Click into this live event at the top of the page, and then you can enroll. You can see it's pay what you can, but it starts at $0. At least it should. There we go. So if you want to tip me, which would be amazing, because although it's free for you, it is not free for me. The infrastructure is pretty expensive. And this platform actually cost me almost $2,000 a month to host everything for you guys. But if you don't want to do anything, you just want to get a feel for the platform, do 0 and click join event, and you'll be able to launch the VM for free. No subscription required, and then you can hack right alongside of me. That's only for the duration of these live streams. So while I'm live streaming, I make the machine I'm working on free to make this as affordable and as accessible for as many people as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and reset my machine. You guys can see the page here. If you missed the previous streams, I ended up locking out one of the accounts on the mail server. So we have to go ahead and reset it so things aren't locked out. And also, as a reminder, if you haven't been here in previous streams, although this is a machine on my platform, I actually haven't solved this machine yet. It was QA'd by our QA team, not me. And so I'm going into this basically blind. And we don't even have the first flag yet. And we're on part 4 of the video. So I share with you I got my full methodology, all of that good stuff. Let me get my notes pulled up real quick. Go over to labs. On-prem. Evasive. Am I missing anything in chat? All right, so Rick said GX Sans Red Pass have CyberLive hands-on. Okay, awesome. And then Yobo recommends the SansSec 565 Red Team cert. Very cool. Thank you, Abdul, for the kind words. And thank you, 54ND, for being here. Seriously, it is awesome that you are here. I'm glad you find it encouraging and inspirational. Glad you discovered me on Dakota, a.k.a. the Bearded IT Dad's YouTube channel. I love it. Leon says, you will regret it if you don't have enough time to do it. No, you won't. Because, hey, if you get a subscription, and let's say you don't even have time to do it, you are supporting the Hack Smarter community. I mean, I make so many resources completely free of charge, and even the paid resources are incredibly affordable. So if you get a sub and you end up not being able to use it for a few months, you're still supporting this very much grassroots community. I have no outside investors. I have no outside funding. I am bootstrapping both Hack Smarter and Kairos. The only investor is my personal checking account. So if you get a subscription, you are what make these live streams possible. I have like around 800 completely free videos on YouTube. You make that possible. Our Hack Smarter Discord community, I'm always active in there. So many free resources in there. You make that possible. So even if you don't get time to use the platform, you still don't regret it. Peace out, Leon, dude. Thank you for joining. Enjoy your meeting, dude. Need to learn more to get the subscription. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can get the subscription and begin with the Intro to Hacking Methodology course. It's included in the All Access. You don't have to pay anything additional. I mean, everything's included in the All Access sub. But the Intro to Hacking Methodology course is very, very, very beginner friendly. So even if you have like no knowledge on ethical hacking, you will get brought up to speed with your subscription. You don't need to be in a certain place before you subscribe. All right, anyways, let me give you guys a quick recap before I start recording. For those of you who are new, it is during these live streams that I make the standalone videos for my YouTube channel. So in just a little bit, I'm going to hit record on OBS. I'm going to welcome everybody again. It's going to feel a little bit weird because you're already here, but that's the standalone video that I'll release on YouTube later on. And hey, if you don't already subscribe on YouTube, you should. I do live stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch, but my primary platform is YouTube. That's where I have almost 800 videos completely free talking about ethical hacking and careers and cybersecurity. So if you don't subscribe there, search Tyler Ramsby on YouTube. You'll be able to find me pretty easily. Or as the other YouTubers say, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Oh, CJ is doing the AWS course at the moment. I love it. So you're already part of the Hack Smarter community. Thank you for the support, and hopefully you're enjoying that AWS course. All right, real quick. Here is a super fast recap. So when we scanned this machine, we had mainly a web server running, not a web server, a mail server rather, and a web server. So a mail server and a web server, it is a Windows box. SMTP, there was nothing interesting. HTTP, there was nothing interesting. SMB, we found a share called Docs that we were able to access anonymously, and we downloaded these 2 PDFs. In this PDF, we saw a hint about sending a .exe to Alfonso, and we saw a message on a default password called new user 2024. With that information, we had 2 users that we enumerated, Alfonso and Roger, and we have a default password here. They did not work for SMB. What ended up working, and I don't think I added this to my notes, which we'll do that real quick, but we were able to get Roger to work. We just had to change the year to 2025, which is actually very common. I am not joking. Just recently on an internal, I was able to get domain admin by taking a default password, changing one thing about the default password, spraying the password of the domain, and I compromised another account that just happened to be a DA account. It was amazing. But we also did RID brute forcing. It worked, but it wasn't helpful because there's only the 2 users, Alfonso and Roger. And what we were working on before was authenticating to the mail server. I used the wrong password the first time for Roger, and with what's the platform called, or what's the mail client called? Evolution. And I think what Evolution tried to do is it was continually trying to reconnect as Roger, and therefore it locked out Roger's account. So that was a no-no, and that's where we left things off. So before I start recording, though, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick sanity check. What is this? Oh, WinScribe. I don't need you today, WinScribe. Not right now. It's what I use when I do some bug bounty stuff. I'm going to go ahead and jump on the VPN for this lab. Open up a new terminal, and I just want to make sure, can I ping? And I can ping it. Beautiful. So far, so good. I'm going to CD over to Hack Smarter Evasive. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this better. And I'm going to update my Etsy host. Since I reset the machine, we have a new IP that we're working with for WinServer 01. That is the host name of this machine. So I'm going to update that and make sure I can ping WinServer 01, and I can. And so here's the part that I forgot to record in my notes. But if we do netexec, this command right here with new user 2025 and hit enter, it should work. That is the valid password for Roger. But then what we have to do is get it connected to Evolution. Now in part 3, which is the part you missed, I spent literally the entire time troubleshooting the mail server and troubleshooting Evolution. And I'm going to include that in the series because a big part of being a pen tester and doing ethical hacking is troubleshooting and trying to figure out why something isn't working and trying to get different error messages. It's not giving me access as JNet. What's not giving you access? You got to be more specific, my friend. Okay, I'm just going to grab this and add it to my notes. Password for Roger. And we'll paste that in, showing that we do have Roger's password. I don't know what you mean it's not giving you access, JNet. Do you mean the live event isn't giving you access? Do you have a subscription and the Evasion Lab isn't giving you access? Did you download the VPN? There's so many there's so many questions there that I can't really help you without knowing the answers to those. Let me just verify. I made the live event last minute, guys. So there actually is a chance the live event I did something wrong. So let me just double check that real quick. Let me sign into the main platform here. I made the live event during the 5-minute countdown and kind of rushed it. Hands-on Labs? Oh, you mean you have a Hands-on Labs sub and you don't have access to Evasive? You should. It's definitely included. And nobody else has had that issue that I'm aware of. So JNet, I can't fix this for you right now because I'm streaming, but shoot me an email at tyler@kairos-sec.com and I can look into it for you, but it's definitely included in the Hands-on Labs. I can even double check. Here, I'll double check for you while I'm streaming. Catalog, bundles, on demand. Settings. Yeah, I can even show you. It's right here. It's definitely included in the subscription. So shoot me an email, but I can't help you out while I'm streaming. It's definitely included though. There are fresh core stack CVEs floating around the wild, so it might be worth giving your integration a quick audit. I don't think there are core stack CVEs floating around the wild. Core stack is not an open source software. Hey, JNet, it doesn't matter about your username. You need to shoot me an email from whatever email you use for the Hack Smarter platform. I can't fix it while I'm streaming. For now, you can... Oh, we need a subscription to get for free? No, you need to click this. If you don't have a sub... So you are talking about Hack Smarter Live. Okay, you need to click into Hack Smarter Live, and you need to change this to 0, and you need to click Join Event. And then for some reason, I always have to refresh it. And here it is. It's there. It's free. What I just did, you can do as well. But okay, I'm going to hack now. You'll have to figure it out on your own from there. I'm getting a drink of water, then I'm going to start recording for YouTube. Also, I think this is part 4. Let me double check real quick. I believe we recorded part 3 yesterday. Waiting for YouTube to load, guys. Give me a second. I don't know why it's going slow. It's free for everyone at JNet only during the live stream. Then it will no longer be free. Yes, yesterday was part 3, so this will be part 4 of the evasive machine. Okay. I'm going to hit record. We'll start recording for the standalone video on YouTube. Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is part 4 of working through the evasive machine here on the Hack Smarter platform. Now, this is part 4, so if this is the first video that you are watching, I do recommend going back to part 1 and beginning at part 1. Otherwise, you might feel a little bit lost, but hey, either way, you're going to learn a bunch. Additionally, I recommend that you hack right alongside of me. You will learn a lot by watching me. You'll learn even more by having hands-on keyboard and hacking the machine with me. So you can get a subscription to Hack Smarter at a very affordable rate. Go to hacksmarter.org to learn more, and then you can launch the VM, download the VPN, and hack alongside of me. But without any further ado, let's dive on into the hacking for today. Now, a real quick recap. If we jump over to our notes, remember that in part 3, I spent most of it troubleshooting. I also forgot to mention, if you look above me, you will see chat. I make these videos while I live stream. We have over 70 people right now hanging out in the live studio audience, and I live stream all the time. So if you've never joined me for a live stream, you are missing out. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notification here on YouTube so that you're notified the next time I am live. But anyways, in part 3, as you may remember, I spent most of the time troubleshooting. I couldn't quite get the mail server to cooperate with me, and I accidentally locked out Roger's account when I tried to set up Evolution. So we're going to pick up right where we left off we now know Roger's correct password of new user 2025. We verified that with NetExec, showing that it works. Now we want to see, can we get it set up to the mail server so we can send an email to Alfonso, and ultimately we're going to send a phishing email. Now I showed you in part 3 how to install Evolution, so I'm not going to show that here, but it's super easy. It's just literally sudo apt install Evolution. But I still have it installed. So I'm going to open up Evolution, and we're going to go ahead and try to configure an account for Roger. So we have our welcome page here. You probably remember this from part 3. We don't need to restore anything from backup. Our full name is going to be Roger, and it's going to be roger@windserver01.hs for the email. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. For our receiving email, we're going to do windserver01.hs for Hack Smarter. And I believe the port, and I'll just double check. Let me go over to my notes. We'll go to our IMAP scan, and our IMAP port, I believe, is going to be 143. Yep, I am right. So we'll change this to 143, and it is not encrypted on port 143. And our username is to be roger@windserver01.hs. I'm going to hit next on that. Receiving option should be fine. We'll hit next on sending email. And now we want to configure SMTP with windserver01.hs. That's the name of the mail server. And SMTP port, at least on this machine, is going to be port 25. Whoops. And we'll change this to no encryption. Now, this is one thing I was missing in part 3. Note that you need a checkbox, server requires authentication, and we want to change our username here from Tyler or whatever your username is to the Roger user. So I'm going to do roger@windserver01.hs. Make sure I spelled that correctly. All of that looks good to me. Plain should be fine. We'll see if it bugs out for us. I'll hit next on there. Just verifying that all the details look good to me, which they do, and I'm going to hit next. And it says, congratulations, it is complete. We should be prompted for the password now, which we are, and that is new user 2025 exclamation mark. And now this is where I cross my fingers and hope it actually works this time and hit OK. And yes, we did not get an error message. Beautiful. Let's make sure we can actually send an email from within this mail server. So I'm going to hit new in that top corner, and let's try to send an email out to Alfonso at windserver01os, and we'll say hello, and I'll say, hi, Alfonso. I hope you're doing well. Pretty soon, I'll send a totally safe.exe file. Please open it. Okay, thanks. We'll say, okay, thanks like that. That's exactly how you would type in a business setting. And Igris, I see your question, my friend. When we are done recording this, I'll come back and do Q&A again. But we are done with the Q&A segment. But I'll do a little more Q&A in about 15 to 20 minutes when we are done recording this part for YouTube. Anyways, let's see if we can actually send an email. Okay, it's going to prompt me for my credentials again. We'll do new user 2025 exclamation mark. Please work. And it worked. Beautiful. Now, if we go back to our lab page, we have a pretty good hint of a few things we need to keep in mind. So if we look at our objective and scope, I want you to notice this. We already broke this, right? This is why we got locked out of Roger's account yesterday, is because of the anti-brute force mechanism. It says, do not get locked out as this will trip up an alert and the operation is over. Well, we did that. We screwed up the first time. That's the nice thing about being a lab, and we reset the machine. The other thing to keep in mind is Defender is on and up to date, which means we cannot just shoot over a .exe generated with MSF Venom, because that is going to be signatured by Defender. There is no way Alfonso is going to be able to open that. The other hint that we have is if we jump over to our notes. And when we were looking at the PDF file, it says, hello, Roger. Can you send me the EXE program via email once you are done with it? So we know that well, actually, let me type this down. We'll make a note here. We connected to the mail server with Evolution using Roger's creds. And I'm doing we'll do an H3 maybe. No, H2. Sending the phishing email. All right, so what do we all know? Well, we know this. Windows Defender is on and It's updated and enabled. So we want to keep that in mind. We also know Alfonso is expecting a .exe from Roger. So what is our mission? Our mission is to create a .exe that bypasses Defender but gives us a reverse shell for post exploitation. So now we have to do a little bit of AV evasion. Well, here's what I know. Some cool guy named Tyler Ramsby released a course called Sliver C2 Pentesting and Evasion. And in that course, that cool dude teaches you how to create a stager for Sliver that fully evades the most up-to-date Windows Defender. And we can bypass Defender and get not just a reverse shell, but a Sliver session on the victim if they run the .exe. And I think it should work based on everything that I see. But here's the other thing. I don't even remember the exact syntax for doing that, but that's the beautiful thing about my courses. So this is very much a promotion, but not on purpose. I'm going to give you a sneak preview of that Silver course because I'm going to quite literally use it in order to remember the syntax for generating this stager. So give me just a moment as I get this course pulled up, and then I'll go back to sharing my screen. Sliver, introduction to Sliver C2, preview. All right. So here is the Sliver course. You can get it right now at hacksmarter.org. I think it's like 45% off. It is a full course, has 20 labs built into it. You can see everything I teach here. But spoiler alert, at the very end of the course, I have a section on detection and evasion. And I explain like AV EDR landscape, Windows Defender overview. We have some fun stuff there. But I teach you right on bypass Windows Defender. If you click into the demo here, I should have all the code on how we end up doing this. So if you've never taken one of my courses, I give you challenge labs, and after every challenge lab, I then teach and explain how to do it. So you're not stuck trying to like figure it out in case you get stuck where you're trying to do the challenge lab. So you can see, in addition to the video, every part of my course has a detailed video as well as a text component that is based on the video, literally based on the subtitles in the video. So we should be able to follow these steps and create a .exe that will bypass Defender. You will also notice that we need a Windows machine to do this. Now, a few people posted on the HackSmarter Discord that they figured out how to do all of this from within Linux, which is amazing, but I haven't tested it yet. Please wear glasses to protect your eyes? What? No, I don't wear glasses. Anyways, what I have done is in this lab, there's actually a Windows Dev Machine built into it. So if you don't have your own Windows Dev Machine, which I do, but I use it for work, and so I'm not going to share it with all of you, I gave you one for free. It's right here. Well, it's not for free. You need to be access to the lab. But in addition to the lab, there is a Windows Dev Machine, and there's RDP access that we can set up. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this Windows Dev Machine. There's nothing super special about the machine except for it has like Visual Studio Code installed for you. Or not Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, so you don't have to set up your own Windows Dev Machine. Oh, Booney Bam said a basic non-stage interpreter exe worked just fine for me. Oh, that's awesome. It's surprising that bypasses Defender. I'll have to try that out in my own little lab environment to see if it works on like the most recent Defender. We'll give this just a moment to boot up. It is a Windows machine, so it can take a little bit. If you don't want to use RDP, you can also do Connect, and it will use Guacamole and open it up in a browser window. So either one works just fine, but we'll go ahead and use the Windows Dev Machine. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm just going to change this to RDP. And I'm going to open up Remina. That's what I like to use for RDP. And we'll see if we can connect to our Windows Dev Machine. We'll say yes on accepting the certificate. And we have the password right here with the username of administrator. So we'll do administrator and type in the password and hit OK. Now, since we just booted it up, it might take a minute or so for RDP to fully connect. Looking over at chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Philly said, busy with the Sliver course, not the evasion chapter yet, so learning before learning. There you go. This will be a preview of what you are going to do in the course. The other cool thing about the course is there's a capstone challenge at the end that takes everything you learned in the course and ties it all together with a lab. I do plan on releasing that lab itself as a standalone lab on the platform. I think that's scheduled for February or March when that one will come out. But if you don't have access to the Sliver course, you'll still get to do the capstone challenge if you want. I'll release it for everyone. Because you don't have to use Sliver. I mean, you could solve the capstone in multiple different ways. All right, we're RDP'd into the machine. And now if you've never used Remina, I'll give you some pro tips for it. You can see this small little box as if we're working from like a calculator. That probably wouldn't be very fun. So what you can do is up here, we can do toggle dynamic resolution update. So I'm going to do that. And now if we did not know how to do this, but you have access to the Sliver course, you should be able to follow it step by step. So open Visual Studio Code, and we're going to create a file named stager.nim. So let's follow my steps and see if my steps are actually correct. So Visual Studio Code should be on this machine, I think. I hope. Come on, Windows. Visual Studio, rather. It shouldn't be. Did I say Visual Studio Code on the sheet? Oh, shoot. No, I do need to use Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code. I am right, not Visual Studio. I want to use Visual Studio Code for the NIM. I'm confusing myself with compiling C into .exes. Oh, JNet said mine open via browser and it looks good and fast. Yeah, browser should work pretty well. It uses Guacamole. It should be quick. I provide quite a bit of resources to these Windows VMs because when I'm on other platforms and I have to use a Windows VM, they always feel so incredibly slow and laggy. So I've given decent resources to these, but it's going slow anyways because it's freaking Windows. Anyways, we also need to grab our code for the stager. So I'm going to go to this demo right here. I think this is where the code is. And yes, I give you the full code here. You, of course, need to update that. And we need to generate some of the shell code as well. And if you want to understand what's going on in the course, I have an entire video where I walk you through the NIM code that we're using in order to do this. But let's check on this. Do we have this open? We do. So I'm going to do new file here in Visual Studio Code, and I will just call it stager.nim. And desktop is fine, so I'm going to create file. And we have our stager.nim here. Let's go ahead and head over to my Sliver C2 course and see if I did everything correct. I'm going to copy the code from the course that we worked on. And if you feel a little bit lost, I'll just direct you once again, check out the course. I explain all of this much slower. I'm going to close that out. I need to grab my VPN IP. I have way too many IPs here because I use Tailscale as well. But what you're looking for is your ton 0 IP. So you can see my ton 0 IP right there. I'm going to copy that. I'm also going to zoom in on this so you guys can see Visual Studio a little bit better. And let's update this to the proper IP, and it's going to try to call down that shellc.bin. Technically, if we were doing a legit engagement, we'd probably want to rename that because shellc.bin does sound like shellcode, but I don't think it matters with Windows Defender. We'll have to find out. So we'll leave it as shellc.bin, and I'm going to go ahead and save this file. Now let's jump back over to my course because we'll see how accurate my course is. Let me go to bypass Windows Defender. So Tyler from the past says, open Visual Studio Code and create a new file named stager.nim, paste the stager code into the file, which we did, and then open up PowerShell and use the NIM compiler to turn your source code into a .exe file. The derelease flag is important for optimization, and the other flags ensure it's compiled for Windows AMD 64 architecture. And you can see the PowerShell code right there. So let's go ahead and follow my own steps, and I'm like QAing my course again to see if it all works. I'm going to go ahead and run it as an administrator. I don't know if that's required, but we have admin rights to this, so we might as well. If it would open up, I'm going to go ahead and make the text bigger for you guys just so you don't have to squint your eyes at it. So we'll go to font. And I'll just change it to like 24. And I'm going to CD to the desktop. So I think that's where I saved the stager.nim code is. You can see it right there, stager.nim. And if we jump over to this, we should be able to copy that. Hit enter, cross our fingers, and it should spit out a stager.exe. Hey, Matthias, the backend is all AWS type stuff / core stack. We don't have any errors, so that's good. You can see that we have a success. And if we do dir, we have a stager.exe, which should bypass Windows Defender. But if we look at our code, if we look at Visual Studio Code, you're going to notice that our stager.exe is very much a stager. It's not stageless. What a stager does is it has to call out to our C2 server. For us, this is just going to be our Kali Linux VM. We're going to shoot up Sliver in just a moment, but it has to reach out to this and download the shell code to then execute it in memory. So if we just run if I just send the stager.exe to Alfonso, well, it's actually not going to do anything because he'll run it. It will try to reach out to us, but if we haven't prepared the shell code, everything is going to fail and it's not going to work. But I'm looking over at the time, and we are at the 18-minute mark in the recording, and I actually think this is a very good natural stopping point. So if you're following along with this series on YouTube, I want to give you a challenge. I've showed you in part 4 how to create a stager that will bypass Windows Defender, but you still need to generate shellcode. You still need to spin up a listener with Sliver, and you need to catch that shell when you send it over to Alfonso. So I know it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you learn a lot by struggling. You learn a lot by kind of bumping your head against things and trying to figure it out on your own. So I want to give you that challenge. See if you can figure out how to create the shell code and see if you can figure out how to send this over to Alfonso and see if you can get a full shell on Alfonso's machine. If you can, amazing. If you cannot, that's okay as well. Just join me in the next video and we'll keep on working through this together. So hey, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. All right, don't leave though, guys. We're going to keep recording. We're not done live streaming. I just wanted to finish part 4. I try to keep them to 15 to 20 minutes. So give me just a moment. Got to go to my host machine and grab that video and pull it to the correct folder so it's ready to be uploaded. I will take like 5 minutes to do Q&A before we start recording again. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll go up to that question somebody asked previously too once I get this video ready to be uploaded. Evasive part 4. All right, give me just a moment. All right, scrolling. Okay, so Iger said, Tyler, I have completed your AWS pen testing course from Simply Cyber Academy and got foundations. Where do I need to focus next? What are the topics and roadmap to be followed to expertise? So Igris, it really depends what you want to do. If you're very much interested in cloud pen testing, I would recommend you check out a platform like pwnlabs.io. They have really good labs and certifications in the cloud space. If you're interested in general pen testing, well, then I recommend going over to hacksmarter.org. You can check out the Introduction to Hacking Methodology course if you're new to hacking in general is a good starting point. Otherwise, you could dive into the Sliver C2 course if you're more intermediate, or you can dive into the lab environment to continue learning. All of our labs have walkthroughs submitted by the community. So if you're ever stuck, there is a walkthrough for you to dig into until you're no longer stuck. At the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. So hopefully that's helpful. I will be creating a video very soon on like a pen testing roadmap for 2026, and I'll expand on that a lot more, but that's my very quick answer. Shaik said, I'm doing CRTO at the moment and loving Cobalt Strike. It seems something out of the movie. Cobalt Strike is very powerful. Mike Huat said, if I stream, try hack me. Should I stream with write-ups? Else I feel the stream is kind of boring because I don't know what to do. Dude, welcome to the party. It's up to you. If you watch any of my streams, there are times where I'll spend an hour troubleshooting something because generally when I stream, I do it blind. I don't know the solution. I don't know the answer. And I share with the audience my full methodology, my full troubleshooting, and all of my mistakes. And I think people enjoy that. But there are other people that just enjoy the short 15-minute walkthrough. So it's up to you. I personally feel like almost every YouTuber does those short 15-minute walkthroughs, and although they can be helpful, you don't learn their thought process, you don't learn their methodology, you don't know how they connect the dots, you don't know how they troubleshoot, you don't know how they actually approach a machine. So not as helpful for learning, but very few people do this type of live streaming because it is intimidating when you're trying to do this with people watching you. So it's totally up to you, but I personally think it's fun. Just start streaming and start working through a machine. Dude, if someone comes into the stream and tells you you're dumb, just mute them. Like, who freaking cares what other people think? Honestly. You do you. Be real to yourself. Don't be afraid of looking dumb, because that so-called expert who's going to come to your stream, I guarantee you they've never streamed before. They've never solved a machine live. So they can be that freaking side quarterback person, but just ignore them. Don't allow the haters determine what kind of content you make. Other people will thoroughly enjoy it. My web app course will be released in February of 2026, and it will be beginner level. It will take you from beginner to intermediate with web app pen testing. Have you used other C2s, and how does it compare to Sliver? I mainly use Sliver, but I also don't use C2s all of the time. When I do a red team engagement or a much larger internal network, that's when I use Sliver to help keep track of different shells that I might have. If you're doing red team engagements all the time, it's worth looking at a Cobalt Strike. It's like the industry standard. It's just very much not cheap. But if you're at an organization that's regularly doing red teaming, look into Cobalt Strike. Sliver C2 is also very good though, but Sliver takes a lot more customization to make it evade, defender, and EDR and stuff. I do teach you how to do a lot of that stuff in the course, but how practical are these C2s in real life? Are they easy to get caught by EDR? Everything's easy to get caught by EDR if you use it out of the box. Even Cobalt Strike is heavily signatured. Almost all of them take customization and doing some of your own dev work to bypass EDRs and AV. Nah, my who cat, don't worry about it, dude. I look at walkthroughs for my own machines on my own platform. I get stuck on my own platform and I have to look at walkthroughs, and I do it while I stream. Everyone does it. It's just very few of us are courageous enough to do it live. So Heckerman recommends Cobalt Strike and Mythic. Yo, what is up, Ryan? What is up? I see a few people struggling with Odyssey here. Let me check out Discord. I've been streaming for a while, so I haven't checked it out. Let's see how people are doing. Oh man, someone is sending like a phishing message to the impersonator, trying to get them to steal money. Hilarious. All right, let me see how Odyssey is going on my phone. Actual, what in the heck am I missing here? Yeah, Ryan's helping people. That's funny. If the org is doing red teaming, they should already have a Cobalt Strike and license for you. Exactly, that's what Ryan says. Thoughts on toughness of OSCP? I don't think the OSCP is that difficult. It is an entry-level certification for a reason. How strong is it if you put stream hacking on Twitch in your resume? I mean, you can. I don't know if anyone cares. Is there a way to run Bloodhound quietly? EDR finds it very quickly during engagements that we contract. You can do other things. AAD internals is what I was thinking of. You can run some tooling through there that will do very similar to Bloodhound, and then you can put that loot into Bloodhound. You can also try using netexec to run it, but it will probably get flagged. But with netexec, when you run Bloodhound via netexec, there is a flag. I don't know if it's called quiet or it's something else where it doesn't do a full Bloodhound collection, but it collects the main components that can be a little bit quieter. All right. Shall we dive back into the hacking, ladies and gentlemen, and start recording part 5 of this? I think we shall. Let me get a drink. A gold standard cert, you know, for HR, I would recommend the OSCP. For learning, I would recommend the CPTS. I think the CPTS is very good for learning, but HR recognition, it's still the OSCP. DC only, that's what I was thinking. Thank you, Ryan. That's what I've done before on an engagement for stealth. It's DC only when you run Bloodhound from netexec, and that's a lot quieter, and some EDRs won't detect the DC only flag when you're running it through netexec from like your Kali machine. All right. Oh, and so I've never used Rusthound. I need to try out Rusthound. What's up, Thicolo? Good to see you, my friend. All right, let me go ahead and start recording for YouTube, and we're going to record part 5. Here we go. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 5 of us working through the evasive machine here on the HackSmarter platform. Now, this is part 5, so if this is the very first one that you're watching, you might feel a little bit lost. I recommend starting with part 1 and following along with the series. In addition, you will learn a lot by watching me. You'll learn even more by hands-on keyboard and hacking right alongside of me. So if you do not have a sub to HackSmarter, head to hacksmarter.org. They are incredibly affordable. Boot up evasive and hack right alongside of me. Finally, you may notice that there is chat on the screen. I make these videos while I live stream, and I live stream all of the time. We have a little over 60 people right now hanging out with me, and you should join and be in the live studio audience. So make sure you subscribe and hit the little notification thingy on YouTube so you're notified the next time I am live. I also see some questions in chat. Guys, we just finished the Q&A segment. When we are done recording this, I'll do a little more Q&A. So if you have questions about what we're doing specifically, I'll answer them. But general questions, I'll come back to those at the end of the recording, which is in about 15 to 20 minutes is what we are aiming for. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive in right where we left off in the previous video. And in the previous video, I gave you a challenge. I showed you how to create this NIM stager for Sliver, and I wanted to see if you could generate the shell code, host it, and send an email to Alfonso and get a shell. If you were able to do that, honestly, round of applause, congratulations. If not, that's okay as well. We will work through this together. So I have the stager here. I've already compiled it with PowerShell and NIM right here. And if you look at my desktop on my Windows machine, we have the stager.exe. Now, as I shared before, everything I'm going to do, I actually teach in my Sliver C2 course. And we'll see how accurate my course actually is because evasive came out after my course, but it still applies. So if we go over to the course, and if you don't have access to the course, you should go get access right now, either through a subscription or buy the course standalone. We just finished compiling the code right here, the .exe. Now we need to transfer the stager to our Kali Linux machine because it's on our Windows VM. We want to get it to our Kali VM. There's multiple different ways to do this, but I like to use Impacket SMB server. You can actually see the syntax right here. You can copy it directly from the course if you have access to the course. And let's go ahead and get this set up. So I'm going to jump over to our share name, and I'm just going to call my share HackSmarter. Our share path, I'm going to do home Tyler HackSmarter evasive. We'll just save it to that path. SMB2 support will be good. Otherwise, you'll get an error. My username, I'll make Tyler, and my password, we'll just do HackSmarter123 like so. I'll add an exclamation mark to make it even more secure. And that should, unrecognized arguments, SMB2 support. Really? Did I do the syntax wrong? Impacket SMB server. We need to do... Okay, do you want me to do username for... Oh, it's just single dash. It is the wrong syntax. I'm going to have to fix that in my course. No one has told me that yet. I have 2 dashes. I think it should just be a single dash. There we go. I'll have to update that in the course later. Good thing I'm doing QA to my own course again. But we have SMB pulled up here, and now we should be able to go to our Windows machine, and honestly, we might be able to just open in File Explorer. I'm going to do 2 backticks in order to grab my share I just set up. I got to grab my tunnel IP. Yours will be different than mine, but your ton OIP is going to be your VPN IP, and we'll go to that. Hack Smarter. Maybe. We see the connection. Did it prompt me for the password and I accidentally ignored it? Bro, I should have permission. I literally gave the file. What if I try to copy stager.exe to that Hack Smarter? Okay, I know my passwords. Oh, here's the prompt. This is what I was looking for. Tyler Hack Smarter 123 exclamation mark. Let's make sure I typed that correct. And I did. And remember my credentials. Hit OK. That's the prompt I was looking for. Now we should be able to go to it. And we can. Beautiful. So then what I'll do is I'm going to open up a new File Explorer. And we can just go to our desktop. We can grab our stager right there. I'm going to copy it. And we can go over to my SMB share and paste it in. And that should transfer it to our Kali machine. We can go and exit out of SMB now. And I'll just show this to you. We have our stager.exe right there. And I'm going to rename that. We'll just call it update.exe. We'll make it look a little less sus than stager.exe. So we have update.exe, but we still need to generate our shellcode. So let's see how accurate my course actually is. So we connected and transferred it. Now we need to generate our Sliver shellcode. So I'm not going to show you in this video how to install Sliver. I do have a video on my YouTube channel on how to work with Sliver and how to do some basic stuff with Sliver. Otherwise, check out the full course. But I'm going to do system CTL start Sliver first. We'll go and get Sliver started. And now I should just be able to launch Sliver. And we can check for updates, but we're not going to with that. I even give you the syntax, which unlike the last one, I'm pretty sure my syntax here is correct. I'm going to copy and paste it though, because this is a good test of my own notes I have in my course. All right, so we're going to generate it. Our file location that we're going to save to, we'll save it to home hack smarter evasive. And let me look at the rest of this. Format shellcode looks good. Oh, you know what? I just realized you guys can't see this. Let me do that again. So looking over the screen, you should be able to see this now, minus chat's kind of in your way. But we have, I'm going to save it to home hack smarter evasive. Our format of shellcode will be good. AMD 64 is good. OS Windows is good. We just need to fill in the IP of our Sliver server, which in our case is just going to be our ton0 IP. So let me grab our ton0 IP there. And I'm going to paste that in like so. All of that looks good to me. We'll hit enter on our keyboard. And what that's going to do is generate the raw shellcode that we need. All right, we'll start up our web server next on port 80. And we just set up a listener on our Sliver instance. So we'll give all of this a moment. If we go over to our terminal here, we should see once the shellcode is generated, you can see my VM. Hopefully my audio is not freaking out. I remember before when I generated shellcode, it like my whole computer took too much CPU because I use QEMU and it has CPU pass-through. So for those of you watching live, let me know if my audio bugs out. We'll give it a second to load here. No one's saying that the audio is bugging out, so I'm assuming that it's working. Piccolo said, AD isn't my specialty, but next time I'll try and follow along on these labs, especially doing free access on your platform. Well, thank you. This one isn't AD that I'm doing. This is just Windows, but the lab that we released today is AD. So you will enjoy that one. I'm good. Audio's good. Sweet. Is it done yet? It has taken just a little bit to generate our raw shellcode, but it usually doesn't take this long. I don't know why it's taking so long. Maybe I need to give more CPU to my VM so that it can generate the shellcode faster. The reason it takes so long, though, is we are generating like raw shellcode. And that's what our stager is going to pull down. And you can see it's done. We call it the grim showstopper.bin. But in our code, I think we called it shellc.bin. So I'm going to move that to shellc.bin. And I'm actually going to double check my code. Let's see if I'm right. Visual Studio. Yeah, shellc.bin. Now, you can name it anything you want. In a real engagement, we probably wouldn't want to call it shellc.bin. That's very obvious what it is. But you just want to make sure when you generate that raw shellcode, the name of your shellcode on your Kali Linux machine matches whatever you did in your code on the Windows machine when you created that stager.exe. And because when I generated the stager, I called it shellc.bin, I need to make sure that my raw shellcode is also called shellc.bin there. So now what we are going to do is jump over to our instructions. So now you need to host this shellcode so the NIM stager can download it. The easiest way to do this is with a simple Python web server in the directory where you saved the shellcode. Although I think in our stager, oh, I did use port 80. Okay. So I thought I used port 443 here, but I used port 443 when I generated the shellcode. This will all make sense once we spin all of it up. So let's go ahead and open up a Python basic web server. The reason for this now is when Alfonso downloads our stager, the stager can reach out to us and download and then execute our shellcode. Okay, so you want to make sure our Python web server is running on port 80 because that's what's specified in our NIM code on where it's going to download from. And over on Sliver, we want to set up a job. I think it's, if we just do MTLS like so and do jobs. Oh, I forgot it does default port of 888. We don't want 888. So I'm going to do MTLS. And I think what we can do is it dash L10, whatever my IP is. Well, we should just be able to specify the port. I'm forgetting even my own syntax there. MTLS dash L for L host. And that's going to be this right here. Your ton 0 IP. And then dash lowercase l for the port. And we're going to do port 443. And now if we do jobs, we can see port 443 there. Now, if you're wondering, Tyler, why are we doing port 443? Well, remember when we generated our shellcode up here, we specified port 443. So when the shellcode is downloaded and executed, it's going to try to establish a session on port 443 to our Sliver listener. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but there's two things that you need in place to follow along. You need to have a web server. I'm going to rename this tab web server. So you want to have a web server listening on port 80. And then in Sliver, you need to have a job listening, which is just another name for a listener, on port 443. With those two things in place, we should be good to go to send this .exe over to Alfonso. And hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully we are able to bypass Windows Defender and get a shell. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to send the email to Alfonso at winserver01.hs. He said he wanted the exe program. We'll say, hey, Alfonso, see attached for the program you requested. And I'm going to go ahead and add an attachment. I'm going to go to home, hack smarter, evasive, update.exe, and attach update.exe to this. Generally, you wouldn't just be sending a .exe in an email, right? You would want to zip it up, possibly add a password to it, and then tell the user, hey, unzip this and run it. A little more social engineering. Most email programs aren't going to allow you to just send a .exe, but oh well. Hello, Alfonso. See attached for the program we requested, and we have the update.exe. All right, it says sending was complete. We can go ahead and check our sent folder, and we can see the exe program right there, the update.exe. Now, I actually don't know how Adrian did this. Adrian is the one who created this machine. If you've ever done a TryHackMe Red Team lab, you're likely aware of his work. He used to be on staff with TryHackMe, created many of their really good challenge labs there. He no longer works for them. He is a full-time Red Team operator, and he created this for us. And actually, I just saw this back here. We were able to get a session. I'm really surprised that worked on my first attempt. If we do sessions here, you can see that we have a session on WinServer 01 as the Alfonso user, and we can do sessions-I and start typing our session name or our session ID right there. And it should get us into the session. And we have an ID as WinServer Alfonso. Windows Defender is fully running. It is fully enabled, but we were able to get a session. And I think this is a very good stopping point for this part, because from here, you can begin doing some post-exploitation enumeration. We might, looking over at time, I do have a few minutes before we have to stop recording. We might be able to grab this first flag. I don't even know what we're looking for, though. What is our first flag? What is the name of the company that is being bought? Well, we could dir like users Alfonso. And that might, I'd have to drop into a shell, I think. How about ls? Yeah, ls works. So if we lsc users first, I'm assuming there's an Alfonso. So can I drop into a shell? What might happen when I do this, and this will be a good challenge for you to figure out, you can drop directly into a shell here in Sliver, but there's a good chance that when we drop into a shell, Defender's gonna be like, hey, this is a weird process. So we could also do process migration first, where we migrate to a safe process in order to save ourselves. But let's try dropping into a shell. If that doesn't work, then I can give you the challenge of figuring out how to do process migration, and you can actually migrate to another process. So it says bad OPSEC, let's try it. We'll say yes, so far we're good. If I go to users here and do dir, we have Alfonso, so I'm gonna go to Alfonso. We can do dir here. I'm guessing that this information is gonna be in one of these folders. I'm first gonna try his desktop. And we have a file called mergerinfo.pdf. And I'm almost certain that's where your first flag is gonna be stored. But now this is a good challenge for you. I have showed you how to use Sliver, how to create a custom stager written in NIM, how to bypass Windows Defender. We sent our phishing email over. We were able to get a session as the Alfonso user, and we found a .pdf called merger_info. But you can't just cat out a .pdf. It's not going to work for you. So can you figure out how to read the .pdf file? One hint I'll give you is if you're using Sliver, there's built-in functionality to download remote files. So you may be able to download the mergerinfo.pdf and then look at the flag that way. But I want to leave you with that challenge. Try it on your own first. A lot of learning happens by stumbling around and bumping your head into things. If you get stuck, that's totally fine. Join me in the next video and I will do it right alongside of you. We'll grab that first flag and then we'll start working on post-exploitation and enumeration and information gathering and all of that fun stuff. So give it a shot on your own and then join me in the next video and we will continue hacking together. This is a super cool machine. I don't know if any of you guys are actually following along, but this is really cool. I mean, the .exe part isn't super realistic because you're not generally sending a .exe. I do like that Windows Defender is enabled though, so you have to do some AV evasion when you send the .exe. And I like that instead of like user.txt, we're trying to retrieve actual files and actual information. Like if you look at the flags that we're looking for, We're looking for the name of the company that's being bought, which the merger would make sense. Then based on the question, we have to elevate our privileges and get an NTLM hash. And then it says, what's the credit card? So even after we have fully compromised the machine, we are not done. We need to continue to do information gathering, and we have to somehow find a credit card number of the compromised user. So honestly, hats off to Hadrian. He did an amazing job with this machine. Really cool. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If not, well, that you should be enjoying it. It's awesome. The whole platform's awesome. Get a subscription. It is well worth it. But believe it or not, we are at the 2-hour mark, and our time together is drawing to a close. I'm going to go ahead and stop my machine. I will say one cool thing about the HackSmarter platform is you can save your progress. So, like my Windows Dev machine, maybe I'll have to get that stager again, or I'll have to reconfigure it, and I don't have to redo everything. Well, you don't have to. Just hit stop on your machine. It's just like saving your progress in a video game. The machine will save the state that it's in. So our stager.exe, all of that will stay on the Windows Dev machine for us. We don't have to redo any of that work. And then same with this machine on Evasive. We can stop it. It will save our progress. Now, because of the nature of our sliver session here, it will kill our sliver session because the machine's going to turn off. But we'll go ahead and stop the machine there so I don't cost myself cloud charges. But super cool machine so far, I think. What's up, Leon? Leon's meeting is done right when we are wrapping up stream, but it's good to see you again. Before I jump off, though, I will do a quick Q&A, so let me scroll up and see if there's any questions I missed. GGS said, yo, I just joined. Are we just getting started? We're 2 hours in, so I apologize. I have not taken the CRTO, so I don't have a take on the CRTO, but I've only heard good things about it. Oh, you sent me a DM about that exact thing? Hey, you know what? While I'm thinking of it, we're going to fix that real quick. You guys can see the magic, all right? I'm going to go ahead and fix that syntax error that I have in my notes. Very minor thing, but each one of these should only have 1 dash, not 2 dashes. That was the only thing I noticed that was wrong. The rest of it should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that, and then it should be fixed in the course itself. So if you do go through the course, it should all be correct, which, I mean, I spent a lot of time on this course. You guys can see it if you want. It's all hands-on and video-based and text-based to easily add to your notes, but there's a lot in this course, including a custom capstone project with a 6-part walkthrough to help you with the project. And if you head over to hacksmarter.org, you can either get the all access pass for $16.99 a month that will unlock all of the courses, or you can also just buy courses. So if you buy the Sliver C2 course, you get lifetime access to it. No other payments needed. It's just a one-time payment, and you get 80 hours of lab time. I guarantee you will not run out of lab time. That's more than enough time to complete the course, but also to play around and experiment with whatever you want to in the lab environment. So lifetime access, one-time payment, or you can do the subscription and get access to everything on the platform. That is up to you. Why don't you use VMware or VirtualBox? Those are way better than QEMU for virtualization, in this case where you want to work inside of a VM. I disagree. I actually believe QEMU is significantly better than VMware or VirtualBox if, it's a big if you use Linux as your base OS. So I use Ubuntu as my primary operating system, and QEMU allows me to do GPU and CPU pass-through over to my VMs and makes my VMs run almost like they're on bare metal. Like they run very smooth compared to a type 2 hypervisor. So if you're running Ubuntu or a Linux OS as your primary OS and you're running VMs on top of that, in my opinion, QEMU is actually significantly better than both VMware or VirtualBox. How long have I been working in IT? I got my first IT job. It was an internship my summer after I graduated high school. So I would have been 18. And then I spent like 10 years as a pastor, but I made no money as a pastor. So I always did IT work on the side. So I've been in IT since I was 18. in some capacity. So 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That'd be 14 years. All right, guys. Well, it is that time. I've been live streaming for, we're right at about the 2-hour mark. I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow, though, guys. I have no guarantees for tomorrow. I have a good reason, though. It's a cool reason. You may have heard of a little conference called the HomCon, put on by my friends Namsek and John Hammond. Namsek reached out to me and he was like, Tyler, do you want to do a workshop for NomCon? And I was like, yes, except for he told me the wrong day. He told me December 16th, which I was available. I am not available on December 17th. And so my workshop's still going to be there, but I'm recording it and it will be like a recording. It's still going to be really well done, but I'm giving a workshop at NomCon on an introduction to AWS pen testing. It will be a 90-minute hands-on workshop where I teach you how to create a free tier AWS account, how to spin up CloudGoat, how to install Paku, how to launch your first scenario. I'm going to teach you about IAM, Lambda, and EC2, I believe, are the 3 services I'll be talking about. And then we're going to go through a hands-on lab, AWS pen testing lab together, almost like a very small version of my AWS pen testing course. But anyways, I am giving that workshop at NomCon, but I'm recording it tomorrow. I have to finish getting everything prepped this afternoon. I'm recording it tomorrow morning. And just to be blunt, after I record a 90-minute workshop, I don't know if I'm going to feel like streaming for another 2 hours on top of that. That's a lot of talking into a camera in one day. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm guessing with the workshop, there might be some things I have to redo. I might make a mistake. I'll have to re-record that part. I'll have to mix it together. So I'll be spending a big part of my day tomorrow recording and making content and making videos to get that workshop ready for NomCon when it happens on December 17th and 18th. So as a result, I likely won't live stream tomorrow, but never say never. If nothing else, I might jump on live stream and do like an hour-long Q&A. I just probably won't do a bunch of live hacking because I'll be burnt out of talking and hacking and all of that good stuff. But seriously, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Your support really does mean the world to me. If you haven't already subscribed to Hack Smarter or purchase a course, you should. That's the best way, or one of the best ways that you can support me. Otherwise, hey, tell a friend to tell a friend. Share my YouTube channel, join the Discord, tell someone to join the Hack Smarter community, and we'll keep moving forward. Oh, I missed a bunch of stuff in chat. I'm so sorry, guys. Scroll up. Barnabas said, can you recommend me one machine in your platform that will build my AD hacking ability? I don't know if I can recommend just one. We have a bunch of really good AD machines. I would say start with the easy ones. If you're new to Active Directory, any of the easy rated machines are going to be very good prep. So this is a really good AD machine that's easy. Let's see. Arasaka is another really solid, easy rated AD machine. The other AD machines, a Welcome would be a good one too. So those would be the 3 I recommend. Once you get those under your belt, you can dive into the mediums. If you're new to Active Directory, I do have some of these hack with me's. These aren't full courses, they're like mini courses of you hacking alongside of me. But if you really want what I believe to be the masterclass of Active Directory hacking, if you head over to academy.simplycyber, I'll drop a full link to the course once I get it pulled up. But my friend Ryan, who has made many of the labs on our platform, he has a course here. Ryan Yeager. He has a hacking Linux one too that's also really good. But I don't know why the images aren't showing up for me. But if you want to get into hacking Active Directory, this is a crazy affordable course. And I'm telling you, this course is the most in-depth AD course I know of. If I expand all these sections, just look at would you just look at it, right? He's going to teach you to build your own domain controller, how to build Kali Linux, how to do reconnaissance in AD, a lot of reconnaissance in AD, how to do credential harvesting in AD, how to do Privesc in AD, how to abuse ADCS, how to do pivoting, how to abuse MS SQL, how to do domain takeover, and a conclusion. I helped QA this course. I'm telling you guys. And I don't get any kickbacks if you buy this course, right? So I have no kickbacks. I don't have a referral link. I'm just telling you that this is one of the best courses out today for learning Active Directory. And Ryan is AKA Overgrown Carrot. He has made a bunch of our machines. So Ryan made Odyssey, which released today. Ryan made, geez, he's made so many, I'm going to forget which ones he's made. He made Slayer, he made Anomaly, he made Ascension, he made Bank Smarter, he made Share the Pain. Like, he's made most of the labs on the platform. So he knows his stuff. He's a red team operator for his day job and is a genuinely nice person. And I don't know if he's changed this, but last I heard, all the money that he makes from his course, he donates all of his portion of it to autism research, which I just think is awesome. So make sure you check out his course as well. But everyone, thank you for being here. Hopefully you guys have an awesome rest of your Thursday. If I don't stream tomorrow, I will catch you guys on Monday. So if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll